This is the first shots of the Raven 9. A couple days ago, I went out and put 275 rounds through the rifle, and I did its break-in period, and I got my first impressions of it. Now, before I go into anything, just to avoid any confusion, there's a Trigger Tech trigger in here right now, but the footage that you see and what I tested the 275 rounds with was with the stock trigger, the mil-spec trigger. I am going to test this Trigger Tech trigger because you can buy it directly from them with a Trigger Tech trigger, so it seems appropriate that I test to make sure it works. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to test it, but I'm probably going to put the mil-spec trigger back in here after I take it out next. So let's get into the footage where I talk about the break-in period. So the break-in period for this rifle will depend on individual rifles. What I did is I did 5 rounds at a time to try and get the springs to work properly and to make sure I didn't have any feeding issues. I even tried this shooting it like a pistol. Because it's so light, it actually works. So that's pretty neat. But I was still in the testing thing, so I just did 5 rounds. Now, sadly I don't have any footage of the couple malfunctions that I had in the break-in period. But I can tell you about them and show you what I think happened. So, the one main thing that happened 2 or 3 times in the first 150 rounds, and then not again after, was a dead trigger. And I don't know exactly how it happened, but a new round would be chambered, and the trigger wouldn't work. It would be a dead trigger. I wouldn't be able to shoot it. And I would have to very carefully pull back, engage the hammer, and then put it forward again so I can shoot, and then it would cycle. So that happened 2 or 3 times, I believe, and only in the first 150 rounds. It didn't happen after that. And the other was I had 1 failure to feed. But I'm not so sure that was due to the rifle, but it is due to how the rifle will come to you, and that's with this magazine. The rifle comes with 1 10-round KCI magazine. And this magazine gave me quite a bit of trouble. Now, one of the things you'll see in the footage that I'll show of the positives in a second here is in one of the clips when I am reloading the magazine, I'm really kind of forcing it in. I'm like pushing it in, I'm trying to get to click. And as you can see here, it clicked in just fine. There was no problem with that. However, with this magazine, I didn't really have these problems with the PMags, but with this magazine, there was not enough slack in the springs for me to insert the magazine on a closed bolt, which is honestly a bit annoying. And so what I would do is I would take the PMags, put them in first, and then reload with this mag. I mean, the springs in this were incredibly tight anyway. Like, it was a struggle to get 10 rounds, even with the assister, the assisting thing to load rounds in Glock mags. So, I don't think KCI mags have a good reputation, but, I mean, they work, but they're not great. I think, honestly, the P mags are better. And that leads to the one, I think this is the last only criticism I will have of this gun that I have so far. The magazine release on the right side, perfect. It's a really good weight. It's a very positive click to release the magazine. You know you've released it. However, the ambidextrous magazine release, it pushes through. It will release the magazine, but it's not very positive feeling. It's kind of like, the best way I can describe it is like the difference between a mechanical keyboard with the right hand side and a TV remote button on the left hand side mag release. It will release it. It's just not a positive click, and it can take some force. It's like, I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but it's usable, but it's not great. So, thing is, it's not necessary. Like in the ambidextrous, in the gold one doesn't have the ambidextrous. It doesn't have the left side mag release. It doesn't have the right side bolt release, and it doesn't have the last round bolt hold open. So, if this gun, from my experience so far, if the gold version, which is a couple $100 cheaper, had the last round bolt hold open, I would go with the gold version every single time, because I don't think this one is good enough. This left-hand side mag release is good enough to warrant the extra $50 or $75 that it represents. But that is where my criticism of the rifle ends. So here is some footage of me using the rifle, and you can see there is the problem with the inserting in the magazine. And the PMags, the PMags do go in, you just have to fiddle with it more. The KCI ones just don't. But the rifle shot really, really, really well. It is, I don't know if this makes sense, but it's very pointable. The weight distribution of the rifle is primarily in the receiver and the buffer tube, as you would expect. The barrel is incredibly light and the handguard is incredibly light, and it makes for an excellent feeling rifle to shoot. In comparison to the K9 was a good rifle to shoot, but it wasn't like, it was a rifle that you would take out and plink with, but I don't think you would ever take the K9 out in any kind of competition. I think it's just too heavy. And the distribution, it used a bull barrel, from what I can tell, and it made it less enjoyable to point. Now, the one thing that this isn't necessarily a criticism, it's more an observation to help you understand this rifle if you have a different pistol caliber carbine. And that is with the muzzle device. So you can order, I believe it's the LTAC or LANTAC muzzle brake on it. The one I have didn't. It just has the thread protector. And this rifle is totally shootable with just the thread protector. The one thing that I will say is that because it's so light, it is a bit jumpy. So there's not recoil, as in you're not feeling a huge amount of felt recoil. It is still an 18.5-inch rifle. But it's a bit snappy. And it's not going to throw off, say, a competition target, like if you're trying to hit A zones, it's not going to throw that off. But if you're trying to hit, say, small plates at 25 to 50 yards in rapid succession, I think the snappiness of this would uh, slightly put you off. And so for my testing, I've ordered a muzzle brake, which I will put on here. Not the one that they sell, it's a different one, and I'll show it when it comes in. But I ordered a muzzle brake, and I'll put that one on, and I'll report if it's worth using or not. And from that, that's about it. This rifle has really impressed me on what it can do from the shooting experience, and I'm very much looking forward to putting more rounds through it. When that will be, if I'm being honest, I don't know. I have uh, an essay I have to write next week, which might take up a fair number of days, and then I have to finish up my schooling before exams. So if I manage to write the essay quickly, I should be able to get out to the range next week and get another 400-ish rounds. I might do 400 rounds through this next time I go out, and I'll report on that, but I'm not going to guarantee anything on that. And the last thing I want to point out is warranty information. So, like I had pointed out last time, I will take this rifle down here. The bolt carrier group had a slight issue in that the side charging handle snapped off somewhere. And the only reason I was able to take out shoe is because I had a spare charging handle. It doesn't come with a top charging handle, it comes with a side one. Now, this snapped off. It didn't snap off in the shipping to my house. It snapped off either at G4C or en route to G4C. So, I got to test the warranty period 2 days in. And so far, from my experience, it was very positive. I called and he didn't answer, but the voicemail said email or text, it'll be easier to get through to me. So I sent him a text and he responded within like 5 minutes. Now, am I saying he's going to respond within 5 minutes to every single warranty text? Probably not. I might have just gotten him at a good time, but I do think it shows a level of responsiveness. And I also sent him an email regarding the 7.62 upper and magwell of this, and he responded within 12 hours. So I do think he is responsive. And so I explained the situation, I showed him the pictures, and he said, wow, he said he had never seen it before, which is interesting. And he said he would send out a replacement charging handle free of charge in the next day. And that happened. I texted him on Wednesday, so it hasn't come yet. But I will post an update on the community post, and I'll show a picture of what the charging handle looks like and when it arrived, when it does come here. So for that, very positive. So if from what I gather from that, if there's a part missing or something broke on the rifle, he'll send you a replacement part, which is an excellent warranty position. But yeah, that's it for this. Like the video to help share the video around if people are looking to buy this rifle, looking to get information on it. Subscribe so you can see the warranty update and the future updates and the 1,000 rounds of this. And I will have a Glock 24 1,000 round video out next week. And like I kind of teased, I am looking to get the 7.62x39 upper and magwell version for this gun. And I think I'm going to do a 1,000 round test on that. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Thank you for watching.